it's a really nice way to show off a wall tile is to have less cabinetry on top, but not every installation is as achievable, obviously, because people need storage. But I love when sort of tile is run up a wall and continued around a kitchen as opposed to like just reserved for the backsplash. Again, it just creates a really nice cohesive look within the space and makes it look less compartmentalized. It's kind of similar, but in a more traditional classic tile, continued up the sort of the cabinet facing area and then up to like a shelf that's sort of installed throughout. Also, continuing a floor tile up the front of a sort of like a bar, you know, a cabinet, countertop is kind of nice too. And also, you know, when you're sitting in a stool, you tend to sort of like kick the underside, and tile is a very sturdy material for the sort of kicked application. This is hard to see, but with kitchens, I think I've seen a trend away from using super classic tiles and more of these stone-like looks kind of carried throughout a space, continuing up a wall. As more sort of European sensibility emerges in the kitchen, I think more architects and designers are using these sort of subtle tiles that continue on floors and walls to, again, create like a sense of holism in a space. Outdoor kitchens, tile is particularly well suited to. It's a porcelain collection. And I think certainly in vacation homes, but also in primary residences, we're seeing more outdoor kitchens, sometimes quite large. And it's a tricky environment, I guess. I don't know, it's funny, I talk to a lot of people who have outdoor kitchens and they don't always use them. I think it's a little bit more of a luxury, or it's kind of a seasonal thing where they don't tend to use it all year long. But a sort of tiled backsplash and floor, it's sort of great if you can have your outdoor kitchen adjacent to your kitchen or living area. Kind of pulls you out there to use it more if you sort of have the same tile continuing from one space to another. This is quite a modern and stark look, but I am starting to see, again, this is sort of what I was talking about before with the datum line continuing around. Sort of a backsplash just juxtaposes two tiles and sort of inset with a band of another tile. I love the black and white crispness of this. So technological innovations, I'm going to pull up my notes because I'm always inclined to sort of gloss over some of the technologies unless I have everything right in front of me. But certainly the large format tiles continue to be big news. And more manufacturers are creating these collections of large tiles. They're also, as I mentioned before, companies like Leia are using the thin formats to create smaller format tiles. So we're able to have thin tiles in like a smaller size. So it's not just these 3 meter by 1 meter slabs of tile that would be installed on walls and floors. They're coming in these smaller sizes. The beauty of these large formats and their thinness is that it's using less material. So it's a fairly green solution. They can be, you know, and it's easier to manufacture, it's lighter to ship, so all around you're using less material, less money, smaller ecological footprint. So I'll click you through some of the exciting technologies that came up in the last year or so. St. Agostino, this is a collection called Play. You can actually submit a CAD drawing to them and they'll create a custom mural for you, which is really nice for an accent wall. I'm not sure how they're able to achieve this. It's kind of like an inkjet printing. I don't know what the lead times are, but if this is something that interests you, just feel free to email me. With all of these, if you want a little bit more information, my email is going to be up at the end, and feel free to just email me because I'll only cover so much. I'm not going to get into a lot of depth with some of these, but I imagine they may be solutions that you're interested in specifying. So just contact me for more information. Ventilated facades and tile facades. I don't know whether you all work in more commercial areas or residential, but certainly on the commercial side, this is kind of an exciting solution. Tiled facades, it kind of hangs off the building facade, so there's ventilation behind it. It allows for a moisture barrier. More collections are being created for this application. A lot of them are systems, so it's sort of like a tile and kind of a structure behind it that the tile clips onto. So manufacturers kind of create the whole system for hanging this facade off a building. Still seeing it more in Europe, but it's starting to make headway in the US because it's a really great energy efficient solution for buildings. Really helps keep heating and cooling costs down. So I'll just click you through a a few buildings. And I do see it more on commercial installations, but also with residential applications. Tile is kind of slowly coming into play, obviously in more modern applications. So this is, hang on while I pull this up. This is Emoziana. It's a 20 by 60 inch ceramic tile with interlocking back panels made of recycled content. And it uses less adhesive on the walls. And similarly, this is clip tile by Amola, and it literally clips together without grout. So it's saving you the trouble of using grout. It uses less material overall. You can install it over existing tile. I don't think all existing tile. It's certain applications you couldn't do this, but it's actually suited for both residential and commercial environments. It's great for renovations. And I think it's like a plastic and a metal clip that it's just attached to the back of the tile, so it kind of clips together almost like parquet floor. It's really exciting. I haven't seen this a lot. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, another manufacturer, Kronos, did a system like this for decking. So they clipped together and then it sort of sat over. There was kind of a substructure underneath it so that there was aeration below the ground. But this is the first time I've seen this that kind of clicks right over an existing surface in interiors. So Laminam is a manufacturer that really pioneered these thin slab-like tiles, and they're continuing to push the technology. This has a 3D textured surface. We're starting to see these slab-like tiles with more decorative effects. Some of them a little bit more kind of wallpapery, and some of them like this having more of an industrial feel to them. This actually kind of shows you the thin tile installed over existing tile. You can see how, if you're not familiar with these tiles, you can see just how thin they are. When they first came out, they were like 3 millimeters thick, and then I think as they've refined the technology now, they tend to be more like 4 millimeters thick, and some of them have a fiberglass backing to them because they're still really figuring out this format. The Italians are actually helping to create international standards for the large format tiles, which is exciting. So this is an area where we'll see a lot of development. I think because of its sustainable applications, it's an area that they've really targeted for growth. This is by the manufacturer Leia. This is another large format, but with these beautiful striated lines, it's going to kind of create this like ombre effect when installed. So I guess, you know, in addition to pushing the actual technology of the product itself, manufacturers are also continuing to make these more decorative and more applicable to a wider variety of living environments. This is Epiani. It's called, I'm not sure what this collection is called, but this is like the thinnest glazed tile that's on the market now. This is, I think it's 4 or 5 millimeters, 4 millimeters thick. So usually the thin tiles don't have a glaze. Primarily this one, you can see it has kind of a shiny glaze effect and comes in a smaller format, but very lightweight, and again uses less material. Laminam has partnered with a photovoltaic panel producer called System Photonics to make these solar panel slabs for roofs, and I think also building facades. So you can see that there's sort of a tile backing, and then the photovoltaic cell is kind of, I'm not sure if it's actually like pressed into it or sort of applied to the top, but this is an exciting area. We're seeing more tile manufacturers kind of pairing with solar producers. I think it was last year, the year before, that Area was the first manufacturer to create, actually have a photo of it a little later in my presentation, but create a system that combined sort of traditional tiles, roofing tiles, with photovoltaic cells kind of alternated. This is again the same collection, but kind of shows you all the layers that go into the tile. I think this is, yeah, you can kind of see. So there's like a backing, and I'm not entirely sure how this works. If you have questions, feel free to just email me later, but it's like actually 5 layers in a very thin package. This is an antimicrobial tile, another category that we're seeing more manufacturers targeting. They're like embedded with, there's something in the glaze, it's like it's integral to the tile, these purification agents that actually clean the air. So on one hand, tile is already great for air quality because it's easy to clean, it's easy to remove dust. I think they help prevent mold and everything because it clears like 99% of the impurities out of the air. And I don't know whether I haven't seen the studies if it affects the whole room or if it's kind of on the tile surface itself, but we're seeing these installed in kind of lab environments and healthcare, but also great for your own bathroom or kitchen. So sustainability. Italian tiles, I don't know that we have them here today, but the Forum Tiles of Italy has a handout that talks about the inherent greenness of tiles. The manufacturing body is very committed to sustainability, and the past few years made a lot of headway to making the products increasingly sustainable. You know, tile on one hand is using clays primarily, which are a renewable resource. Their durability, ceramic and porcelain durability in an installation, they just hold up forever and ever, so you don't have to replace the tiles. Obviously, when people renovate kitchens and bathrooms, they do tend to replace the tiles, but there is no real need to do so because certainly ceramics and porcelains kind of hold up to a lot of antagonists. Seeing more incorporating recycled content, including things like TV cathode ray tubes, but also using their own, factories will take their own waste and kind of take the tiles, like recrumble them up into powder and sort of turn them back into tiles. They're also, many of them are recyclable. I think a few manufacturers are starting to have take-back programs where, again, they just can kind of pulverize them and turn them back into new product. It's inherently non-toxic. The use of tiles saves energy. They're durable, cost-effective. I'll try and find the handout for you. I think it's actually over there in the corner. Is that it right there? Yeah, so it's like a green card. Just kind of talks you through the wonderful, fabulous green aspects of tile. So here's a few sustainable collections that I'll walk you through. This is Trend. It's called Liberty. Trend is a great, they do mosaics primarily. They have really beautiful collections. They have a collection of all recycled mosaics. The coloration is a little bit more subtle than their regular line, but a lot of their regular patterns are being offered in sort of an environmental way. This is a glass mosaic. I think it's primarily recycled glass, where they have some ceramics as well. They've really made a lot of headway in their products. Also, we're seeing a lot of the large format tiles, such as this one, that incorporate like 40, 60, 70% recycled content. So certainly if you're specifying tile and green is important to you, just talk to your supplier or manufacturer, request recycled content, because many of the manufacturers are really committed to it, and a lot of their collections incorporate, I think, post-consumer and post-industrial recycled content. And they're very good about promoting that, so they often have that information available. Okay, I'm almost done. So since timing is getting a little tight, I'm just going to kind of continue to click through, some of these offered. This is another antimicrobial tile installed in a lab. It's like a school lab environment. This is what I was talking about before. This area is photovoltaic cells kind of interspersed with traditional roofing tiles. And this is an interior, I think Green Builder Magazine and Forum Tiles of Italy worked together to create this sort of model house, and they specified eco tiles throughout the whole thing. And it's what I love about this is you often see the recycled content tiles installed in fairly contemporary settings, but this is quite a traditional space. Here's the faux wood planks. This is Trend again. They have a mosaic. I love how it runs all the way up the wall and carries through recycled content mosaics. This is it's like a slim stone-like tile that runs from the kind of open floating tub into the shower. This is a faux leather tile. So again, all these have recycled content to them and installed in a fairly traditional setting versus the modern settings that we normally see them. So that concludes the program. Some websites you may want to jot down. Italiantiles.com is sort of the portal to all the other websites that you might want to link to. Website of the Confindustria Ceramica, Italy Tile. There's also a tile competition that Forum Tiles of Italy sponsors. I think they're announcing the winners now at Coverings in Las Vegas. I encourage you, if you tend to specify Italian tile, to take a look at the website, enter the competition. I can't remember when the due date is. I should have had that on top of my brain, but if you go to the website, you will be able to see. You can also download tile trend reports. You can connect via social media, information on the tile design competition. You can learn about all the trade shows where you can look and touch and feel Italian tile. In addition to showrooms throughout the building here, probably the next thing is ICFF in New York City in May. There's an Italian pavilion. I'm not sure where in the show it is this year, but a lot of the manufacturers are kind of consolidated into a pavilion, so it's easy to find them and get around and touch and pat.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Please be sure